What is going down, Spicy Squad? Let me clear my throat because we're ready to get cooking. It's Jason Aponte, Brad Graham, State of the Franchise. Been an eventful week, and we're going to talk about it all right now. Let's cook. That's Jason Aponte. I'm Brad Graham. We're going to get into it all right now. Man, I don't know about you, Jason, but that intro is still a bop. Like, I'm still vibing off that thing. I'm still just like, yeah, this thing. Every time we hear it, I'm like, this is cooking. Shout out
Man,
to
shout out to Justin. Yeah, and I get comments like that all the time too on this show about the same thing. They're like, why does Brad have all the hardest intros? And I'm like, because he's a goat, man. I was like, that's it's pretty easy.
the intros are legendary. But so is this week on 49ers social media, whether it's Trey Lance workout videos, whether it's quarterback rumors, or content creators kind of going back and forth at each other. But it's been, I mean, if you like to be entertained, that's happened, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what it is, and again, we're all human, we all have emotions, we all do wrong things at wrong times, but nothing to do but stand on it and move on. I think, a famous wise man said, fuck it, we ball. So that's kind of where I'm at with it more than anything. But yeah, it is what it is. So whatever, we move.
Yeah, man. Obviously, both you and I have found ourselves in a little bit of back and forth between Twitter spats, and at the end of the day, I think it was just a reminder to both of us of like, hey, man, you know, things get focused on like the actual thing that was tweeted, but I think in
Mhm.
both of our situations, it's far beyond that. Like
Yeah.
for me, for example, thumbnail gate, all that type of stuff. It's funny because I could care less about the thumbnail. It was more in principle. And of course, there's a big history there dating
Right.
back a lot of years. So there's plenty of context that goes into these situations for both of us.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that we've learned, from these situations is, hey, man, every once in a while, we're gonna stand up and say what we got to say, but we're also gonna grow from it. We're also gonna get better, and
Yeah.
we're gonna learn how to continue to provide the best content possible and continue to do it in a way where we can bring people together and not ultimately divide people, right? Because that's what we want. We want a community. That's why we have our channels. We build these communities of 49ers fans. At the end of the day, our goal isn't to divide people. Our goal is to bring people together about the San Francisco 49ers, right? That's what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, more than anything, I think what people don't seem to realize is like nobody ever sees the guy who pushes first. They just see the guy who gets pushed last. Like right in a
Right.
basketball game or a football game, right? Like a guy, after the whistle, he pushes, the ref doesn't see it, but the next guy pushes, and then he's the one who gets the flag, right? So it's just again,
100%.
there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not just like a one-off thing, but at the end of the day, whatever, it's over. Like I said, nothing to do but stand on it and just move on, and that's it. And if you stick with me longer, you're gonna see me make more mistakes. I promise you. I promise you. And the other thing is too is remember, Brad, I gave you a call yesterday, right? Because I wanted to check in on you, right? Because it had been, a
100%.
time where I see a lot of people, saying crazy stuff or whatever. And I hit you up, and what did I tell you? I said people are going to like you or dislike you for who you are. So why not be who you are, right? Like there's no reason to try to be something else when it doesn't matter what you think people want. People are just going to like you for being you. And that's it, man. It's like again, I have no reason to be anything other than me. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, I understand. Like there's nothing that can be done. Like so, your reflection of me or how you feel about me and my actions, that's your business. That's not my business, basically.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been a fun week in regards to keeping people entertained. I will say this, like for me as a content creator, um, I don't want to be the focus of the content. And I think, there's a lot of mistakes made with what I did.
Right.
Even if I felt justified in everything I did or the reasonings behind it all. But at the end of the day, for me, it was like, I don't want to make the situation about me at the end of the
Mhm.
day because the 49ers are the number one priority, and the 49ers give us a ton of stuff to talk about. And that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
So, any thumbnail that you ever see on my channel, feel free to use it. I don't care. The thumbnail is the furthest thing from the issue. So this fire thumbnail that Jason and I got with the cooking hats and the verses, feel free, use it. Do whatever you wish.
I'm pretty sure
I don't
nobody's
care.
going to use this one, right?
This might not be the thumbnail that you
unless
think, but at the end of the day,
unless people start to believe you and I are about to go at it, right? Like they're
hey,
like
someone
ready
said
to divide.
we're you two beefing. I don't know. Do we gotta fabricate a beef, man, and get this
Brad,
thing cooking?
I mean, did you steal one of my draft crushes or something, bro? Like, I mean, like, what are we doing here,
Will
man?
Mallory, come on down, baby.
Oh hell no! And I was on Blake Freeland way before you, blood. No way,
Oh
no
no,
way.
Blake is my guy. This is bad now. It's wraps.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, thumbnail gate was wild because again, at the end of the day, we got a lot of history with both of our responses. It's not really about what actually it looks like. There's a lot deeper situations, but both you and I, we're not going to go down that road. We're going to handle those situations as we handle them. But there's more things to get excited about, get entertained by. I think one of the things that was really entertaining yesterday was we got our first throw,
Mhm.
one throw, slow motion, tight spiral, Trey Lance.
Mhm.
First time we've seen him throw since he broke his ankle week 2. And hey, considering the circumstances of this week, I was like, thank you, Trey. Thank you for blessing us with this on the. It's actually Preston Smith Photography. Thank you, Preston Smith Photography, for blessing us with this. Because whether you like workout videos, you think a slow mo one off is absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter. It got people talking, got people hyped, and got people back on football. And for me, I like that. What was your takeaway of obviously people are gonna like it, they're not gonna like it, but hey, Trey Lance dropped him throwing with Patrick Mahomes. What was your overall takeaway of that?
Wake up, honey. New Trey Lance start.
Wake up, honey.
I mean, look. We as 49er fans are the number one when it comes to breaking down mechanics and getting googly eyes over throws. But
Facts.
I think in all seriousness, it's just really good to see Trey throwing the football. It was a spiral. That's something that a lot of people talk about. But again, I mean, this in no way one way means anything. This does not mean that Trey Lance is developed into the guy right away, right? Like
Wait, he's
it's
not
just a
Patrick Mahomes yet?
right. Like it's just a throw. It was nice to see, and I think that was kind of where I was at with it with on Twitter. And again, like I think your reaction to it and people trying to drag down people who were excited to see Trey throw. That's again where we start to get into like the agenda stuff because as soon as there's the first video of Brock Purdy throwing,
Oh, just wait.
people are gonna fall all over themselves retweeting and
He's
Brock's
throwing
back. Yeah.
it looks like he's throwing harder.
Yeah, right. Like so, like it's the
Quicker.
same thing. It's just I think the best way to put it is let people enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. And then, some people have this weird thing that they do where they support any of the quarterbacks on the roster.
Dude,
So
you can't
yeah.
support any of them. You gotta pick one.
No, you have to pick one, and there's three of them now. But yeah,
It's
some
like content
people
creators. You gotta pick one content creator. You can't watch all the content creators. You just gotta pick one. Just like
so
the
for
quarterback, same thing.
For me, man, it was a nice throw. It was cool. It even got, a nice little response between you and your other person. I thought that was pretty cool under the tweet. I thought that was cool. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just nice to see him throwing the football. And it's nice to see him working with another quarterback coach because he's probably intent on trying to fix some things. And there's nothing wrong with improving. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but fans can be excited. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that's cool.
I'll stand on this 100%. I have been getting hyped off workout videos since before I had an account. I have been probably the number one uh, ingester of off-season workout videos since probably going on 12 years. Like when I started my account and my brand, like, and the off season came around, there's a reason why like workout videos have always been a part of sharing the content, whether it's draft prospects or current players. I've always followed these guys throughout the off season,
Mhm.
and this is how I look at it. Is Trey Lance throwing on air without pads, without a pass rusher, with the is that anything in a nutshell in the grand scheme of football when you've got 11 on 11 and it's game day? No, it's absolutely nothing. But how do these guys prepare for those situations? These are those moments. So
Yeah.
how you practice is how you play. So you can always contextualize and you can find value in anything if you know what you're looking for. I have the same argument for the NFL Combine. People say the NFL Combine is useless, underwear Olympics, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't translate. Okay, that's fine. But I cannot express to you how many people that I have found that have turned into bona fide super
You muted. Yeah.
through watching the NFL Combine because I know what I'm looking for. I
Right.
know how to contextualize it and make it make sense for me.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to be the police of that and say you can't get excited about this, that
Right.
is do you, but I'm going to do me and I'm always going to do me. And I've been doing this since before it was a thing, since before Bleacher Report or NFL accounts are posting this stuff. So that's why I know all the trainers already. That's why I got them on. I'm ready to go.
You
So
got post noties on.
okay, it's off season. It's dry out here. We're looking for content as much as we can. So two things can be true. You can be excited seeing Trey Lance throw the first ball that we've seen since week 2, and it can also be a blip on the radar in regards to its actual significance, right? Do you think that's a fair statement to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it can mean nothing, but there's nothing wrong with being excited and seeing the kid throw a nice spiral. It's fine. It's designed to get people hyped. That's literally what it's
100%.
designed to do. So again, I mean, practice and a little bit to your point about the combine. It's kind of what I'm struggling with Zach Kuntz because Zach Kuntz blazes this 40-yard dash, right? And you're like, oh, he's fast. But then I watch him play sometimes, Brad, and I'm like, that play speed is not translating. Like he's not getting in and out of breaks. He's not even accelerating fast enough. Like, at times, like he can get to that speed, but he's not getting there as fast as I thought he would. So again, practice, running, play speed, completely different things. But again, how do you build up those reps? You do it in practice. So again, it's a video designed to get people excited. It's designed to show you that Trey is working again, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything other than that. And I think again, if you're hopeful for Trey Lance, I mean, if you're a 49er fan, you should be hopeful for all quarterbacks that are on the roster to be successful. But for me, it was just a cool thing it was nice to watch, and it was a dope video. And then you see him working next to Mahomes, so you hope that maybe there's questions that he's asking Mahomes, picking his brain. Maybe just straight up just going in and asking him things, tricks of the trade, right? We heard Patrick Mahomes, I think in year 3, say, I learned defense. I learned how to read defenses in year 3.
Mhm.
Like that's crazy to think that sort of development could be there. So it's always good to make sure that you ask these questions, you get around guys like that, and there's only good things that can come from that. So again, it's nothing, but it's still designed to get people excited, and that's exactly what it did.
And I think that's a great point, and that's why I liked seeing Trey working with, a different quarterback coach, kinda switching things up a little bit, and also working out with Patrick Mahomes for the same exact reasons that you've said, because, I mean, you start getting around people and you start spending time with them, you're just naturally going to elevate yourself. If someone's, like, better than you and you spend a lot of time with them, just naturally, you're going to push yourself to be on that same level, right? That's just how the world works. And in football, like if you are a little bit behind someone, but you get out into a practice and you realize like, man, I can cook like this guy. I can I can do things that are similar. I might have a ways to go, but there cannot be enough said about how you can build confidence that way and how you get better and you compete and you elevate your game. I think it's a positive. Now, is it going to translate into Trey Lance being quarterback one? We don't freaking know. We're going
No.
to have to find out in training camp. We're going to have to, well, there's a lot of variables to play. But I do love the fact that it was the first time we've seen Trey throw since he broke his ankle, 2 surgeries. It was encouraging. And the fact that he's with Patrick Mahomes, and there, like you said, there's a lot of feedback that's going to be happening. And just think about how Patrick Mahomes can help build confidence within Trey. When we talk about Sam Darnold, when we talk about Brock Purdy, we look at Brock Purdy as having a ton of success when he came in as a rookie because he has confidence. What do they all like? You listen to all the players talking about Brock Purdy. What do they always say? Oh, that guy's got balls.
He's a guy.
He's got cojones, and that
Mhm.
in football terms means he has ultimate level of confidence. So that's where I've questioned Sam Darnold in the past, his confidence in he's got the ability, but the confidence in processing, question that. Trey Lance, he hasn't had enough reps. There will be an impact of confidence. So getting around guys like the best at their position right now, generational quarterback, I don't think that can hurt you. I
Mhm.
think you can add some extra tools to the belt, but we'll see how that translates. One throw, okay, it's one throw, but who knows how much time they're spending together. And again, when we talk about this quarterback competition, that's what I want for me personally. As a fan, I want a competition. I want Trey Lance versus Sam Darnold versus Brock Purdy. And if all these guys are giving it their best, that is the best possible thing for this team as a whole when it comes to contributing to wins late in December. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. The company you keep in all things in life are important, right? Like let's correlate it to you and I, right? You and I do this YouTube thing. Brad, admittedly, in the beginning, you have to work yourself out of your shell. Well, it's hard for you to not be at least a little bit more forward when I'm around because you know me, I'm gonna get that out of you, right? Like, and
Oh,
again,
you
like
bring it
you,
out. You have the energy level and I'm able to help kind of match that. So super helpful for me.
it's the same thing, right? Like again, you know that this guy's at the top of his game. Not saying that I'm saying that like you know that Patrick Mahomes is, right? And he's putting in this work, right? He's not resting on the fact that he's just, oh, I just won another Super Bowl. He's back out there working. All of those things can come into play. So again, surround yourself with people that you can learn from, surround yourself with people that are not afraid to give you help. And this is a life lesson more than anything. At the quarterback position, I can't imagine how helpful it'll be. So again, it's like all of this stuff is good. Nothing can be bad. But again, it doesn't mean anything until things are actually going to happen. But it definitely did what it was designed to do, which was hype people up and have people talking a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I had no problem with it. It was a nice little moment.
Yeah, I love the marketing strategy. I'm here for it. It works, it makes sense, and I'm down for it. Tyler says, I'm going to say this right now. Trey's going to be shutting up the haters this year. Um, Listen, I don't
I
really
love
care
it.
about the haters, to be honest.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what I care about is seeing the best version of Trey Lance that we've seen yet. And if we
Yeah.
get that, that's good for the San Francisco 49ers because ultimately I want to win games, less about shutting up the haters. But I get the point.
Yeah.
Justin says, can we talk about no wobble, though? Because every time you saw a clip prior, there's 20 comments about the wobble. First of all, is that particular sentiment overblown to begin with? And two, it was a tight spiral. You can't lie.
Yeah, there is something pretty about throwing a tight spiral, but there's plenty of quarterbacks that get the ball there, however they get it. I think I think what people instead of focusing on the wobble on the pass, it's the consistency, the lack of consistency thereof. Really, when we talked about what we saw at training camp, at times it looks smooth and it comes out, but the repetition, can you continue to do it? And I think again,
Yeah.
that's when you get into a point where you start hearing that Trey Lance is throwing the ball however many months in a row because of repetition, trying to just get that down, turn it into muscle memory more than anything. So that's really what it's about. It's not about the wobble. Plenty of quarterbacks throw wobbly balls. It's about the consistency in your release. It's the consistency in your mechanics. Can you continue to make that happen? And I think that's more what he has to work on than the wobble thing more than anything. And especially he throws the ball very hard. There's so much like to be able to like throw the ball accurately. It's about velocity at times, but it's about understanding when to put that zip on the ball, when to lay it in, and the touch, all of those things that you hear. And that's the stuff that he's trying to work on right now at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Soup says it in the comments.
Peyton
Peyton
Manning.
Manning, one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks to ever play. I really do think that if he and Brady had the same amount of championships, Peyton's probably considered better, because I just feel like, yes, and I know it's a bold take probably to say that Tom Brady, like, because he's considered the GOAT and all that type of stuff, but when you boil it down to like in a vacuum of playing the quarterback, and Tom does it really, really well, I just felt like there was something about Peyton Manning that was like mentally on a different level. And I've heard Tom talk about like he learned things from Peyton. It wasn't really the other way around. Like Tom was picking up things from Peyton's game. Peyton was just he was a freak, man. He doesn't have the same amount of championships or anything like that. He didn't throw a pretty ball. He's famously says like whatever, something about throwing the most ducks for a touchdown or whatever. Like he threw a duck. But at the end of the day, it's about timing and getting the ball there accurately. If it's pretty, even better. But Peyton proved like it doesn't have to be pretty to be successful, right?
That's the thing is I feel like, and I'm going to back you up on this a little bit. I feel like Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback in the history of the game. But Tom's just done too much, and that's why he's the GOAT, But when you talk about, yeah, of course. But when you talk about understanding what defenses are trying to do, understanding how to gain leverage, and just the guy who is basically the offensive coordinator on the field, I don't think anybody can deny that. And sure, at the end of Manning's career, he threw a lot of ducks. His arm was done, it was gone, at certain points. But he threw a bunch of them when his arm was on. So again, a lot of those throws are able to get there because he understands route combinations, when to get the ball out, where's the window, what defender he's throwing it against, right? You're not going to test Ed Reed with a throw like that because Ed Reed will undercut that thing and bounce on you. But if you have another guy that it's not Ed Reed, I mean, the guy was meticulous down to all the details, and I think that I can back you up on that. I would say he's probably the best regular season quarterback of all time.
So when it comes down to Trey Lance throwing with wobble, spiral, etc., I don't think that's ever been his main issue. And I think you alluded to it too as well just a second ago. It's just the consistency between throws, because we've seen him make every throw. It's consistently making every throw, because for every good throw that he has, there are throws that aren't that good looking either. So it's just about, bringing the gap closer together when it comes to, just being consistently good thrower. He can throw the football. It's just, can you do that consistently, put it where you want every single time? And the expectation is that it will be there, not that, we're not sure if it's going to be accurate or not. So Trey's got work to do, but that comes along too with working on your mechanics. Like, it's well documented that his mechanics have been gone through the ringer a little bit since, working out with a set of quarterback coaches, then coming in, having it deconstructed and rebuilt back up. There will be some time involved in regards to getting that muscle memory down. So if he can come into training camp with that muscle memory down, mechanics aren't an issue anymore, and everything's tight, and this is how Trey's going to throw for the next 15 years, then that's the place that we want to be, because we're going to see the best version of Trey Lance if that's the case. If he's not thinking about, all right, I got to make sure my arm slot's here, I got to make sure I'm at a 90, I got to make sure, that slows your processing down, because you're focused on how you're throwing it, not focused on reading the defense. So I think as long as he gets to that spot, we'll see the best version of him in that regard. So regardless if you think you can determine if you see his mechanics looking smoother or not, that throw looked pretty good. And just like you said, it was designed to be that way. And shout out to his marketing team because they did a phenomenal job.
Man, will you stop with the rational takes and give the people what they want? Trey Lance,
No.
four-time MVP, back to back to back, confirmed on one throw, pal. Deal with that.
There we go. Spicy Aponte will pick it up for me. So obviously, quarterback conversation doesn't end there.
No.
This week. Plenty of rumors. So I don't know. Let me get your take on this. Was the Aaron Rodgers thing, was that a rumor or has it turned into a rumor?
Well, I'll tell you this. And I talked about this on Afternoon Report a few days ago when it came out. You have to start with the person that started this rumor, and his name is Craig Carlton. And anybody who's on the East Coast, like I am, you know very well who he is. Not going to get into his personal life, but I will tell you this. The man's not connected.
You're not going to get into his personal life, huh? So there must be
you can Google that. That's free for you on the internet to go ahead and look. What I know of this man, because I don't ingest talk radio, I think it's ridiculous at times. I think, it's just a lot of posturing and people just over reacting. God, I don't know why I couldn't get that out. But for me, it's right now, Carlton is somebody who is putting something out there that someone told him. So he's not connected to the Jets, Giants. He doesn't break stuff here. Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Islanders, Rangers, Liberty. It doesn't matter. He's not breaking anything over here.
He's a mouthpiece, right?
Pretty much. He's just a radio guy.
Yeah.
So he gets it on a good accord from a Packers source that the 49ers are involved if the Jets slow up. And there's a proposed deal that is much sweeter that the 49ers have in place than the Jets do.
Interesting.
For me, this is where you can stomp this out. One, the problem is that as long as the 49ers don't have a healthy quarterback before the draft that anybody knows is going to be starting aside from Sam Darnold, then teams and content creators can just pull the 49ers into it all the time because they're win now, right? Okay. Where would Aaron Rodgers go if it wouldn't be the Jets? It's got to be a win now situation. Sounds like the 49ers. But for me, this felt like this Packers source dropped this off to Carlton so Carlton can run his mouth on the internet and on his show to scare the Jets and make the Jets up their offer. For me, nothing more than anything. I think it's more media games just being played and just the Packers want this to be done already because from all the things that we heard at the Combine, it was they don't care where they send him. NFC, AFC, XFL, USFL, they want to be done with this because they've done this with two quarterbacks in a row, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. This is nothing more than the posturing and just trying to put up a front to get Joe Douglas to panic and throw in another pick because they don't want to come up off of their first round pick. So the report is the 49ers are offering their first and 2/3 for next year's draft for Rodgers, which I highly doubt that's happening. And if it was happening, why have the Packers told the Jets to get lost and just take that offer? You see how that like how none of this makes any sense, right? So again, it just feels like this source to Carlton is trying to get Joe Douglas to panic. But then we get a report today that it's way more close to the Jets getting it done. Again, this just feels like media games, and they just use Carlton to say that. So
yeah, so it'll be really interesting. But again, if you don't know what's going on, earlier in the week, Carlton got on, gave his take, and it's caused quite a stir about potentially getting Aaron Rodgers to the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, it's a hard situation, right? Because you look at Aaron Rodgers, even regardless of his kind of recent antics and all that type of stuff, you still consider him as like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, even at his age and whatever. And you would assume he's got scheme understanding because of playing with LaFleur in Green Bay, that he could probably come in.
And Nathaniel Hackett's over there with the Jets.
Yeah, and you think he could come in for the 49ers and do just that. But, man, giving up another first and multiple picks just seems rich after you're still trying to figure out what Trey Lance is. Even if let's say they don't believe in Trey Lance internally and they are maybe looking for other options, just feels like a bold move. But again, hey, scared money don't make no money, so I can also understand it in that standpoint. But it's just like, man, uh, go give me Brian Burns in that case.
And then that's the thing too, Brad, is the 49ers have, I believe, $3 million in cap space.
Yeah,
How on
like
earth do you feel
less
like
than
you're about to make this
2.
happen? How are you going to make this all happen? So again, look, the 49ers are the perfect suitor or
Always
pseudo
are.
suitor because of the fact that they don't have a healthy quarterback, one that they can pencil in right now. The only real healthy quarterback that is going out right now is Sam Darnold. So as long as the 49ers continue to get to the NFC Championship game, not get it done, they're always going to be this team that people can link to, that can, scare other teams, and that content creators like Carlton and other people in the NFL can always say, well, I wouldn't put it past them to look at this guy or look at that guy. As long as the 49ers are still without their penciled in every single year quarterback one, they are going to be part of these discussions, unfortunately. And we're just gonna have to deal with it, unfortunately. I don't like it either, but it is what it is.
Set your clocks to it. Every year, the 49ers are going to be attached. We had Mike Florio last year, all but guaranteeing that Tom Brady was going to be the San Francisco 49ers quarterback up until he wasn't. And he was like, oh, I was wrong about that.
Right.
And so I agree with you. Until we know who quarterback one is, we don't know who quarterback one is. And that's going to leave all quarterbacks open to potentially being there. Right?
Prediction. If for whatever reason the 49ers don't get this figured out again this year, by God, it's Kirk Cousins music. Oh my God, for God's sakes. Because they'll just go right back to Cousins after that. By God, but for God's sakes, it's Kirk Cousins. He's wearing socks with dog sandals. Like it'll be because he's gonna be a free agent next year. And again, that's why it's like I've been saying, I've been desperate for the 49ers to find their guy so we can stop talking about Kirk Cousins. We can stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. All this goes away when you have your actual quarterback one that is going to be there for 10 years. And the 49ers have been chasing that guy since Steve Young. And that's insane to say.
Right. And Tyler says, Jason and Brad, can we all agree right now that this is frustrating to constantly hear about this situation at quarterback? Rodgers, Lance, Lamar, Darnold. I hate hearing these rumors constantly. I have to agree with you, Tyler, man. Like we got quarterback fatigue. It's real for fans. Like quarterback fatigue is real, constantly having to talk about it. Like, for me, I would much rather just focus on the draft, but I feel like I keep getting drawn back to this quarterback conversation. And it's just like at a certain point, I know we're all tired of it, but then it's like new little wrinkles are added. And it's like, all right, well, what's this potential range of outcome? Let's discuss it. Is there validity to it? Is this smoke? Is this real? And at the end of the day, after doing that, after 30 times, you're just like, man, can we just figure out who the quarterback is and move on?
This all goes away when the 49ers finally get a franchise quarterback. And again, they've been chasing it since Steve Young. I mean, you don't ever hear the Dallas Cowboys being involved in this. You don't ever hear the Philadelphia Eagles, the LA Chargers, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs. None of them are ever in the market for any of these people because they've got their guy. And God, I see what you've done for other franchises, and I want that for me. So at this point right now, the way that you make this go away is Brock takes the role, and he's just our guy for the rest of the time. Or Trey takes the role, or God forbid, or God help us, Sam Darnold takes the role. One of these guys, if they become the guy, then all this goes away and we don't have to hear any more about these sort of rumors. And I just see other franchises having that sort of stability in terms of their quarterback position. And I want that for my team. I just want that for my team because even when Jimmy was here every year, well, they were thinking about Dalton. Well, they traded up to 3. Like, again, like Jimmy was here, but Jimmy was still got the guy winning games for this team very much, but again, like he wasn't viewed as the franchise guy. So again, like it all boils down to the 49ers finally having to figure this out. It's the last piece to the puzzle for Kyle Shanahan, who's built this roster, who has built the winning culture. this is the last that they need to do. It's like the last Infinity Stone.
Right, and I think it also helps to kinda contextually put it into perspective so that we don't, like, go crazy, just about the quarterback position. It's kinda like what you said. This roster is phenomenal. Like, offense, defense, the way it's been constructed, adding Javon Hargrave, like, the whole roster as a whole is fantastic. So, worst case scenario, whoever that quarterback actually is, there's a strong likelihood that that quarterback has a chance of being successful. We've seen it with Jimmy Garoppolo. What are the biggest things that people talk about with Jimmy is like, well, he's not that talented of a quarterback, but he was in an environment and in a scheme where he wasn't asked to go above and beyond. It was hit your first, second read, find your check down, and get the ball out quick. And I think that is a recipe for success, regardless of who you are at quarterback. If you can get the
You muted again?
if you can get the ball out, wide receiver screens to wide receivers on screens really quickly, get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, that changes the outlook of, a straight drop back passing air raid type offense that puts the entire emphasis on the quarterback and his arm, right? So
Yeah.
I understand. I agree. The constant quarterback talk is a bit exhausting, but it comes with the territory. And at the end of the day, the 49ers are still set up for a ton of success, even if it is Trey Lance, if it's Sam Darnold, or if it's Brock Purdy. I think all these guys can have success with this roster that's been put around them. We just got to figure out who that guy's going to be.
And that's the thing, and I like Harold's comment too, because again, like I was saying earlier about the quarterback position, content creators, guys, media outlets are gonna know that the 49ers are the team that they can always peddle stories on. And Tom Brady hasn't filed his retirement papers, and there
He
is.
hasn't?
I don't think he has, unless somebody can tell me if he has. I
I
mean,
thought he did, but
oh, he
I
did.
could.
Okay, all right. So then
Oh,
I'll
I
take that
thought
back.
he did, but I could be wrong.
No, I could be wrong too. But I'm just saying, like, again, it doesn't it kind of feel like that is one of the range of outcomes, like at this point, like with that, again, the media people, they can always run with these things because the 49ers are a team that, first of all, 49ers quarterback is a cornerstone position in sports, like point guard for the Lakers, like center field for the New York Yankees, like, yeah, right, like you literally look at the names: Montana, Rice, right? Like even Brody, Wyatt Tittle, like these are some of the best that have ever played, right? So it's a landmark position. And when the
Yeah.
49ers have not had a guy for so long, and they've had spurts where they believe they've had a guy, these are always going to be the types of things that happen and can be brought up at times, as long as this quarterback position still goes with, without a certain answer. We have a feeling, we can be optimistic, but it's not certain. And I think that's the part that's frustrating for fans. And I feel you guys. I mean, we have been searching for that guy since Steve Young. I'll say it again. Thought you had it with Garcia. Thought you had it, you drafted one with Alex Smith. Thought you had it with Cap for a little while. Thought you had it with Jimmy for a little while. It's exhausting, and we continue to keep going back and forth with this. But unfortunately, the 49ers, and not just Kyle Shanahan, since Steve Young, have been searching for that guy, and they just haven't been able to find him yet.
Absolutely. But the 49ers, very well, amidst all of that, still may have the best team in the NFL from a roster perspective. So, glass half full type of guy. And that's how I'm
Yeah.
going to continue to look at it. Like, it's exhausting, but I feel pretty good,
And
man.
Brad, the other thing is isn't it a little suspicious that Tom Brady didn't want to start the Fox Sports gig this year?
Yes, it is. They're
Why?
waiting. They're
Why?
waiting a whole year.
Yeah, he's waiting a whole year. Come on, man. Like, again, you can spin that to say he's missed out on so much time with his kids. Okay, you can spin that there, but that's suspicious. That's weird. It feels like it's all right there in front of you at this point. And I just it's weird to me, like that's there. And again, these people are just going to keep running with that. So for me, it's just, again, all this goes away when the 49ers finally figure this thing out.
Right. And like, hey, the San Francisco 49ers reached out to two retired quarterbacks last year, right? Ben Roethlisberger
Well,
and
to be fair, one reached out to them and they reached out to another. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it
Philip Rivers called him.
Philip? Oh,
Philip
I
Rivers
didn't know
called him.
that.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think it
it
was
was
Philip
them
Rivers
checking
called him, and
in.
I think they were saying that they reached out to Ben. I don't know. I mean, either way, and I just confirmed Tom Brady did file his retirement papers. So,
But I'm sure you can unfile as well.
if anybody can, I'm
It's
sure
Tom
it's
Brady.
him. Yeah, come on.
100%. So obviously, it's been a fun week on covering the San Francisco 49ers. If you happen to be on Twitter, and if you just, you're vibing, you've had a little bit of everything. Whatever you want, you could find it on 49ers Twitter. 49ers Twitter is the gift that keeps on giving, right? It's like a car crash. You just can't look away from it. It's
Well,
like
I gotta say, NFL Twitter is like hanging up the
NF
rear. Like,
no, all of Twitter, right? I feel like you can just encompass all of Twitter at this point.
and I'm not gonna get into that. I think you guys kind of know what I'm alluding to because us East
I
Coast
know.
dads, I fell asleep last night and I woke up to what on earth is happening and what just happened. So whew, NFL Twitter's been on one.
Yeah. We're restless. We want football back in our lives, and when we don't have football to argue with, what's left to do? Just to argue amongst ourselves, right? So,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
uh,
start a beef with you now. We're gonna
yeah,
start we're gonna start up rumors that State of the Franchise is broken up. And that's it. Like, and we're gonna start it, and we're just gonna continue. Maybe we do a stream where like we fake argue all that stuff. I think right away. Sam H, bring this one up because I gotta go, but I love this question because I think it's hilarious.
which one?
It's the last one Sam H just put up. Neither.
Yankees win the World Series.
Neither,
49ers.
Sam. Neither, man. Neither. Good God. You know what? I will say this. The 49ers find their franchise quarterback before the next time the Yankees win the World Series. I can guarantee you that. I can definitely guarantee you that.
Absolutely, sure. But hey, Jason, just like you talked about, all you got to do, man, if you want to get some beef going, just take the thumbnail to this video, throw it on one of yours, and we're off to the races, baby.
Our Brad and Jay's beefing. My story. Watch my video.
More on this in 30 minutes. But my man, again, like, I think this week is also just a reminder, hey, we don't got to take ourselves so seriously
Yeah.
we're going to get in our feelings, and things are going to rub us the wrong way, and we're going to stand up for ourselves, and we're going to defend what we believe in, right? At the end of the day, even if people don't understand what we're defending, which is, I think, a huge part of both of our cases, because they think it's the actual thing. We're defending something completely different. But regardless of that, we've grown from this.
Yeah.
We've gotten perspective, and we've gotten better from it. And who knows? Maybe Jason and I are beefing next week. It could happen. It could happen, people. Sources are saying, Will Mallory, come on down to the Draft Crush section of this.
You bastard. No, look, to put a bow on it, it's this. Again, we're human. We have emotions. We say things, nothing to do but stand on what we said, keep going, and try to be better, and stick with me. Trust me, I'm going to make more mistakes. I promise you. So again, the last thing I'll leave you with in life, and obviously in this game, people are going to like you for who you are and dislike you for who you are. So there's never any reason to stop being who you are at this point. So is what it is.
100%. And we're going to continue to do what we do best, and that's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. And there's going to be plenty more to talk about. Draft is, 3 weeks away?
Finally.
So it's going to be here before we know it. And then we're going to have the full picture, hopefully, of what the San Francisco 49ers roster looks like. And then we can really start to project out what we think the San Francisco 49ers are going to be doing.
And I love Derek's confidence. I hope the Yankees win the World Series. I just know this team, and I know how they built their team. And as long as the Houston Astros still exist, they're still going to be in the way of the Yankees, man. But hey, Derek, if you love it and you think they got a shot, I'm with it, man. I'm going to the stadium next week, so I can't wait, man. I can't wait to get back because they're actually losing right now in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. God, the only thing that makes me more mad than 49ers Twitter is the damn New York Yankees.
Well, we'll be back next week with more football to talk about, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more draft heavy, start talking about prospects and more football related stuff.
Stay away from Will
You
Mallory.
got anything cooking on your channel? What articles?
Today I might do sprint right option. Depends on when I get back. I gotta go file my damn taxes because I'm almost late. Like,
Who
yeah, that's a
gets
bad thing.
cooking?
Yeah, and like those 1099s and everything, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Like, if for anybody that knows, when you're at 1099, when you're independent contractors like Brad and I am, and how we make our money, unfortunately, you have to pay all that back eventually. Like the bill comes, and it's not going to be nice. So I'm not looking forward to that. But if I get back in time, sprint right option tonight. But I just dropped a review of the latest Draft Wires mock draft on Niners Nation, which has them taking a corner, a linebacker, and a goodness gracious, who was their third pick? And an offense and a left guard, which was actually shocking. But yeah, I put some thoughts in there. I actually got a chance to watch them, so check out for that. And Niners Nation all week. You know what it is. Bully ball with Steph Sanchez. Sprint right option hopefully tonight. All right, I pull up Harold's thing, and I'm gonna say this real quick. So yeah, all right.
Good.
I love Eli Ricks. I love Will Mallory. I love Saldieri, I'm coming along with right now. I don't know the nuances of offensive tackle.
Did you see Brandon Thorne is on the hype train too?
Yep,
Let's
that's
go.
a good thing. That's a good thing. For
Let's
me, what I always give people advice for is because there's so many people that do draft content and everything, but they love all players. If you're looking at players that you enjoy, I'm much more of a corner and wide receiver guy because I can relate to playing those positions. I tried to play it in high school. So for me, Eli Ricks, I like Will Mallory a ton. I'm coming around on Kuntz. Not as big on Schoonmaker, I'm sorry. But I really like Will Mallory and Eli Ricks. I think those are my two guys this year. I think Eli Ricks has a chance to be the number one corner in this entire draft. And Will Mallory is just a guy that screams, like, please go get this guy, man. Like, please go get this guy because he wears 85. He's fast as hell. He rumbles down the field. The production's a bit of a concern, but give me Will Mallory. I'm with that, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of guys that I like, but I'll stick with the tackles. I got 4 tackles that I've got circled. You talked about them. Nick Saldiveri was the first draft crush for me of this particular draft season. You're talking about him now as a 3rd round draft pick. I mean, he was available in the 7th round in the PFF mocks. They just adjusted his rankings. They now got him at least in the top 150. But he's one of those guys that's going to be highly more valuable within draft rooms than media rankings. So Saldiveri was my first guy. Blake Freeland, obviously out of BYU. Jalen Duncan out of Maryland. And Cody Mock. Those 4 tackles right there. 4 options that could be available in the 2nd or 3rd round. And if you can go snag one of these, I'm all on board for spending a 3rd rounder on Saldiveri. Like, if that's where everyone's pointing his value to, then I'm down for it because Saldiveri can play right tackle, guard, and center, and we know how valuable that is on this type of team that we have. So I'm for it, but there are plenty. I got all the highlights, all the players that I like that I've watched so far. I got more to watch, and we'll get into it. But for now, Jason's got to go get his taxes done.
I'm broke, baby. I'm broke.
Doesn't come for his neck. And we gotta take care of business. So appreciate everyone for tapping in for State of the Franchise. We'll be back again next week. I'm Brad Graham. That's Jason Aponte, and we are out. That's Jason Aponte. I'm Brad Graham. We're going to get into it all right now.